Hello. So it was brought to my attention that the next that at some point about 10 minutes of the recitation from yesterday was lost in terms of the video. The audio came in clear, but the video disappeared for whatever reason. I have no idea why. So this is going to be the video that replaces that bit. I'm going to use the same audio from yesterday, and I'll do my best to keep up with what I'm saying.
All right, so this one is an insect, right? It has a head, a thorax, and an abdomen. Here it is, head, thorax, abdomen. They have wings, a compound eye. I told you that you should look at the compound eye of the crayfish. Don't worry about it for the crayfish. We're going to take a close look at that for the insects. Of course, the antennae. It happens to have an ear here, which is the tympanum. And it's got 3 pairs of walking legs, all attached to the thorax. There are no walking legs attached to the abdomen, or the head, of course. All right, and we're going to distinguish the difference between males and females in a few. So here we have antennae, compound eye. It also has a little simple eye next to it. It's the tympanum. Forewing and hind wing, so it's 2 pairs of wings. 1, 2, and 3 sets of legs. Right? You know the head, thorax, abdomen. And how do these guys breathe? Well, they take in air through little holes along the abdomen, which are called spiracles, and they're attached to these tracheids, little tubes, canals that, with a little muscle power, are able to transport oxygen to the rest of the body. But it's not like us that we have lungs with a diaphragm that pushes air into our body. So here's a male versus females at the end of the grasshopper comparison pictures. A female will have these open clasper-like circus, but don't worry about that word. All right, what I really want you to remember is that this is called an ovipositor. And when the female is ready, a little long tube comes out, and the eggs will travel through that tube from this opening, and she'll insert the tube into a sandy substrate, sandy soil or something like that. The eggs will lay in there. The male still has a circus, but does not have that opening. So it's more of a rounder structure. Okay. Here are the spiracles then. Give you a close-up. This little hole there, that little hole there, and here, these are the spiracles. Actual openings for air. Now note that there's no organ that sucks air in. What that means is that arthropods in general, especially land arthropods, have a limit to the size of the body, because air can only diffuse, oxygen can only diffuse a certain distance before it's unable to reach any organ with efficiency. Right? So air is coming in through here, but it can travel as far as the head, and maybe it can travel a little bit, but at certain sizes, it's really hard for oxygen to saturate the whole body. So there is a limit to the size of land arthropods. The largest land arthropod that doesn't use gills is like the bird-eating spider, which is the size of a human hand, of a large human hand, the biggest spider. And it doesn't, you can't get those giant insects that you see in the 1950s horror films, like They, or Them, or whatever it's called, the giant spiders. Those arthropods that use gills, that's a different story, though. Gills are a little bit more efficient at capturing oxygen, and they can get a little bit large. But again, there's a limit to their size because of the weight of their shells. All right, well, the spiracles, the story on the spiracles. What about the compound eye? Well, the compound eye is called the compound eye because it has multiple lenses. So each one of these little, here's the eye, is composed of something like this, these little hexagonal patterns. Each one of these little hexagons is a lens. And their nervous system has to figure out how to make sense of all of this, right? How to make sense of all these multiple images that are coming in from a single eye. Don't worry about them, they know how to do that. And so it's too bad we're not in the lab. It's really interesting to see this. To be able to take a look at this eye underneath the dissecting microscope. So, you've probably heard of metamorphosis. Speaking when learning about insects. Metamorphosis is a term that's used for a change of life. Amphibians, for example, have metamorphosis too. These are vertebrates, not arthropods at all. They change from a larval stage to an adult stage. This term is used for the exact same reason in arthropods, in insects. The only arthropods to undergo metamorphosis. Not all insects undergo metamorphosis. There are those that are not too divergent from the ancestral condition that don't undergo metamorphosis. So you can call that incomplete metamorphosis. And there are those that do have a drastic change. They go from something that looks like a worm, basically a larval stage, to something that looks completely different in the adult stage. Right. So, for example, the ancestral condition, these animals that have the ancestral condition have lots of segmentation on the abdomen, undergo incomplete metamorphosis. You have the adult that lays eggs. Out of the egg hatches a little miniature version of the adult. It grows by molting, right, shedding the exoskeleton in stages. Here's one stage, so here's the first stage, here's the second stage, third stage, fourth stage, fifth stage, and final sixth stage. They're born without wings, and eventually they develop wings. So that's incomplete metamorphosis. The young are called the nymphs. Dragonflies do this, right? Dragonflies, if you ever take a look at a picture of a dragonfly, also has this highly segmented abdomen. Now, what about complete metamorphosis? Complete metamorphosis includes things like ants, beetles, bees, wasps, moths, flies, and moths and butterflies. Start off with I don't know, some of you probably know this by heart if you have children or you've had the book, The Very Hot Caterpillar, read to you, in the light of the moon on a dark night, something like that. The moth lays an egg on a leaf or whatever, something like that, right? And out pops a little caterpillar. That's the larval stage. And the caterpillar is able to grow by shedding its exoskeleton as well. It's a little bit easier because the exoskeleton happens to be very thin, a very thin cuticle. And it has stages. And the last stage is a large stage, and it prepares by entering the pupa stage. And we know this in butterflies as the chrysalis, and in moths, like this one that's pictured here, in moths, the caterpillar takes it another step, and surrounds the chrysalis in a cocoon. So maybe you were wondering, well, where does the cocoon come in the story? Well, that's where it is. Moths, not butterflies, moths will place the chrysalis inside a cocoon, which is a layer of leaves or silk or something else that surrounds the chrysalis, which is the pupa. Okay, flies will just have a pupa, and beetles and things like that. Ants, they all just have a little egg-like structure, which is a pupa. All right, so that ends the arthropods. I'm going to talk quickly about the chordates. Phylum Chordata, which includes the vertebrates. All right, so there are other chordates besides vertebrates. They all have a notochord. A notochord is a supporting rod. Here, a supporting rod, and it extends from one side of the body to the other. A dorsal nerve cord is present in all of them. For us, we call it a spinal cord. Pharyngeal pouches. I showed you those pharyngeal pouches yesterday in yesterday's lab manual chapter. Right, the pouches that are present on the throats of those embryos. Well, turns out those are the same things as gills for fish. Embryonic humans have them. Okay. And a post-anal tail, that is an extension of the body beyond the opening of the anus. Post-anal tail. Right? And you might be saying, well, I don't have it. I don't have that. We're humans, and humans don't have it. Well, you did when you were an embryo. And you should be familiar with the different classes of vertebrates. You have the sharks, which are the chondrichthyes. The bony, let's not learn this. Let's learn bony. Bony fish. It's osteoichthyes, that's bony fish, and these are the cartilaginous. Cartilaginous. All right. I think these scientific terms might be a little bit too much for bio level. All right. Cartilaginous fishes. Let me write that better. Okay. Cartilaginous. All right, so what that means is that sharks have a skeleton of cartilage, not made of bone, it's made of cartilage, like the material inside your ears or at the tip of your nose. Okay. The bony fish are different. Their skeleton's made of bone, which is a repository for calcium. And you have class amphibia, which are the amphibians. These are the frogs, toads, right, salamanders, and another group, which I don't think too much. And you have class reptiles, reptilia, lizards, snakes, turtles, crocodiles, crocodilians, which nowadays also includes the birds. But let's learn class aves anyway. Let's learn it anyway, right? Aves, which is the birds. If you know Spanish, you're a leg up on this term, or French maybe. Many of the Latin languages. And the last class are the mammals. All right, and that would segue us into the section of a fetal pig for tomorrow. Not tomorrow, Monday, right? Oh, today's Thursday. Good. All right, so we'll stop there. Except I'm going to go over the lab manual now. All right, let me share that screen so we can see that. I almost forgot.
Okay, guys, I hope that recording came out through. Now, some people have emailed me that they have questions about filling in the lab manual for this chapter in terms of what groups the squid or the slugs or the clams. Somebody asked me about the grasshopper, what groups they're in, and if you pay close attention to the recitation, you'll find the answer. But I also want to share with you another way to find the answer, which is you can go to a website. All right, let me see if I can find that website for you guys. Okay, you can go to a website that's called iNaturalist. Okay, let's say, for example, you wanted to look up, well, you can look up a squid, right? Let's say one of the ones was, you can look up Humboldt. Humboldt squid. Right, there we go. Humboldt squid. And you guys are interested in maybe what they look like or what classification scheme they have. So you can go to one of these that has the research grade, the green little tag on the pictures, and that'll take you to the observation. By the way, if you haven't seen iNaturalist before, it's really interesting because you can literally just take a picture of something that's live, that's wild, and not caught or captive or raised, like no garden plants, for example, and put it up on iNaturalist, and you'll, if you don't know what it is, somebody will probably tell you what it is eventually, a couple of days or less. And if you do know what it is, you can, you start a collection of things. Anyway, so you come up here to the name, uh, Dosidicus gigas is the name of the Humboldt squid, and you can click on the grayish common name, or maybe you guys will have it as a Latin name, and look up here where it says Life, Kingdom, Animalia, and then it has an arrow, a couple of dots, and then it takes you to genus. Well, you click on the genus, and then it'll tell you what subfamily it's in. Well, maybe you don't want subfamily. Well, you can go click on that, and it'll tell you what family it's in. Well, maybe you're not interested in that. What order is it in? Eh. Super order, Decapodiformes. These terms are okay. You can use that. Subclass, Coleoidea. Okay, class, Cephalopoda. Remember, we use that. Name, phylum, Mollusca. So you see, and then, up above phylum Mollusca, the only thing you have left is the kingdom Animalia. Let's say you wanted to do the termite. Okay. Well, here it took you straight to the family of termites, epifamily, superfamily, Blatoidea, order Blatodea, subclass Pterygoda, class Insecta. So now you know what class it's in. Subphylum Hexapoda, which is a little bit higher than Insecta, right? And the arthropods, and it's an animal. All right, so if you're having problems figuring out how to fill in those two tables, the arthropod diversity and the mollusk diversity table in the lab manual, you can certainly use this website to help you. Another one that helps is Wikipedia. You can look up an animal on Wikipedia, and it'll give you a breakdown of the classification system as well. What is going on with that picture? Ooh, nasty. All right, guys. That's very interesting. Enjoy your weekend, and I hope that this helped.